So Queensland has put in the adult time, adult crime laws, but in the next interview, it says that we have no youth crime. It has lowered 6% and 9% less car crime. Here she is asking the Minister for Police. So where's the crisis? Oh, well, there is no crisis. Depends who you ask. But hey, I'm just a politician that talks shit a lot. So I'm going to say whatever I want.
And detention when it's necessary in the interest of community safety. For the last 12 months, youth crime has reduced. It's reduced by 6%. The number of vehicles stolen by youths have come down 9%. And whilst there's still more to do, because we need to make sure that people are not only safe, but they feel safe, certainly we're seeing a positive emerging trend.
But since 2018-19, the number of serious repeat offenders increased by 65% over 4 years.
Here's a lesson on how not to answer a question by your favourite political party. They will do everything in their power not to answer a direct question.
For the police to do more proactive patrols, also more engagement with those serious.
And there it is, more funding for the police. Thank you, Dutton, ex-cop. Giving money to your mates for nothing because crime is down. Kids.
They're coming down.
In the movie Wag the Dog, they say we've got to stick the course. It's all friggin' political mumbo jumbo to keep you docile. They're lying.
We need to violence our victims, and that is why we've increased penalties, we've created new offences, we've provided more support, we've given police more training to better support victims and ensure.
So, it's family violence that's causing the crimes, but instead of funding families, they're funding the police. How does that make sense? And this is what they've got their knickers in a knot. Someone stole a ute. Oh, friggin' tradie ute. Oh, poor tradie doesn't have a ute. Get on with your life. Kids have been doing this since I was little.
Resolved in the affirmative.
So they notice that they steal cars and they post it on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. So what if we get the kids off the social media platforms and then they won't steal cars and post it online? Bullshit. But what's online that's so dangerous for kids apart from corn? Well, the alien sightings that are happening, the drone sightings in the Americas. Here's a pilot saying what he saw, what to do, trying to film it. But they're scooting around really quick so that they see it's like a light, but it's not a light because their machinery sounds an alarm that they're going to hit an object. So they don't sound. The alarms don't go off when it's just a light bouncing off a satellite like the official story. They're satellite lights. No, they're not. They're actually machines of some kind. Listen to this for a bit.
Circle-shaped object that's zipping out over towards the ocean. It disappears for a little bit, and then it zips back in about 20 miles from us off the right side of the aircraft. It's picking it up on TCAS. It comes back in, and then it zips back out over the ocean at a rapid rate of speed, faster than anything I've ever seen move. One on the Fox. I'm trying to get a video of it.
The one that was at our altitude that would come up to us and sit for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then it would go back out over the ocean, over the horizon.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. Yeah, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
One researcher suggests it's a light bouncing off a Starlink satellite over the Pacific Ocean, catching the eye of
It's funny how we believe more in talking heads from the television than actual professionals.
I've never seen.
So, the whole problem with the nuclear subs, why is this urgency to get our hands on nuclear submarines? What's the deal with all these powers creating the need for submarines? When did this start? What have they found underwater that they need submarines to keep exploring?
Use our democracy. How lucky are we to have a democracy?
The AUKUS alliance is being hailed as a historic move.
Yes.
We spend close to $400 billion over the forward estimates. Now, at some point, the PM is going to ask a very simple question. In order to protect us from which enemy?
It's so hard to say.
400 billion, pick one.
A regional player.
Specifically, Colonel.
An Indo-Pacific regional player.
More specifically?
Indo-Asia Pacific.
That's broader. Who are you leaving out?
Europe?
Yeah, I sort of need a country.
Or an unaligned player.
No, a country. One that won't threaten us. Just one. I'll name one and you just nod. China. Yeah. And what exactly are we protecting?
Strategic interests.
Specifically, Colonel.
Indo-Asia Pacific strategic
You know what? I'll say it and then you nod. Our trade routes. And who is our number one trading partner? China? Yeah. So under this scenario, we're spending close to $30 billion a year to protect our trade with China from China. And that doesn't strike anyone at this table as odd? Okay.
Restraint is the name of the game in this budget. The words of Jim Chalmers, the Treasurer. Is it restraint to spend...
And now we come to the big divide between the multi-billionaire rich motherfuckers and the poor. It's getting wider and wider, and they're spending money like it grows on trees. They don't give a shit about the quality of life for the mob. They're only interested in spending tax money.
to spend $40 billion on subsidies for fossil fuel companies. It seems that when the Treasurer preaches restraint, that applies only to everyday people. In reality, this government is on a reckless spending bin.
So we've gone from adult time, youth crime, adult time, to the social media ban for under 16s, to the nuclear submarines and the nuclear bases in Australia. Why do we need the nuclear subs? The drone footage, they're not for defense. They are for something else, those submarines. The drone footage in America and the spending, how much money they're spending on resources that we don't need, but they seem to think we do.
To secure its strategic interests, which, mind you, just happen to be the interests of its biggest multinational corporations.
So here we are spending a lot of money on submarines, and there are three things that happen in the Antarctica that point to the need for submarines. Now, listen to this.
Ancient stories and occult beliefs revolving around these hidden subterranean realms.
So he's saying that there's been talk about a world inside our Earth for a long time. There are lots of stories about it, actually.
To this day. And a famous American explorer who flew into an inner Earth entrance by accident and documented this world firsthand.
Tell you more about the surface of the moon than we can the surface underneath our own oceans. The most consistent themes that we find in ancient cultures when we travel around the world is the
now you might zone off now, stupid conspiracy theories, but keep watching. This guy, this decorated explorer and aviator wrote something in his personal journal and kept it away from government hands.
Admiral Richard Byrd flew reconnaissance missions over the North Pole. Byrd allegedly reported in his private journal about a mysterious land beyond the North Pole, which he called the center of the great unknown.
Admiral Richard Byrd was able to fly to the North Pole and back and recorded flying over lush green areas where none should have been. And then 3 years later, he flew over the South Pole.
It's rumored that when Admiral Byrd's task force actually got to Antarctica, that one of the first things they discovered was an entrance into a hollow Earth civilization that was populated by very, very advanced beings.
Now, when you look at the map of Antarctica, have a look at how many flags are on that map. How many nations own a piece of Antarctica and how many research facilities are down there. What the hell are they researching? I mean, we know all we want to know about penguins. I mean, Morgan Freeman told us everything we need to know. This is Spanish news about the Argentine submarine that mysteriously vanished, and various excuses were placed about why it sank. But experienced Marines did not cause an accident, I believe.
On its southern side sits a deep bay known as the Ross Sea. Here that America's McMurdo Station has become a hub of international polar exploration. The cliffs of the iceberg are an incredible 9 stories high.
But about halfway up, there's a strange dark smear visible in the pristine ice.
As the ship gets closer, it looks like debris stuck in the iceberg. But what is it?
In Antarctica, planes go missing at an alarming rate. So maybe these are the remains of a plane that crashed into the side of an iceberg?
Of wood and large pieces of canvas are sticking out of the iceberg's face. Sections of canvas appear to be large pieces of tarpaulin. The wooden boards look like the interior walls of a hut.
And it has been theorized by a number of people that Antarctica is some kind of alien base.
So the reason I put this up is because the witnesses say that spacecraft came out from the sea, from the ocean, and didn't even move the ocean at such speeds. And I remember reading about that, and it happened in Antarctica by explorers and military personnel as well that were stationed there. Here we go.
And even though these doors were that thick and that heavy, you could take one finger and push them and they would open. There was no resistance whatsoever.
In January of 2015, a U.S. Navy flight engineer who served with the Antarctic Development Squadron at McMurdo for 14 years came forward to investigate reporter Linda Moulton Howe with bizarre accounts of his time in Antarctica.
From about 1983 to when he retired from the Navy in 1997, he was in all kinds of what they call Antarctic Squadron expedition missions that included rescuing people in and out of various places. In all these trips, nothing of a high strangeness had occurred, and then all of a sudden it was one thing after another. During a squadron mission in the Transantarctic Mountains, the whole crew saw a whole bunch of silver darting objects, and they are round. And he says they're doing the strangest thing. They're going like to this peak in a group, to this peak in a group, to this peak in a group.
It's like Stargate, isn't it?
but it's important that you understand what kind of man Richard Byrd was. He was not some pseudoscience conspiracy theorist kook. He was a legitimate badass. Here are the bullet points. Richard Byrd reached the rank of Rear Admiral by the age of 41, the youngest admiral in Navy history. Now, that by itself is impressive.
This guy,
He was a recipient
highly
of the
awarded,
Navy Cross, the Flying Cross, and the Silver Life-Saving Medal. In all, he received
and then
42
he
citations
writes
and
in
commendations,
his
including
personal
9 for
journal
bravery
that
and
he
2 for extraordinary
sees a
heroism. He
mammoth.
was, to this day, one of the most
And then no one
officers
believes
in the
him.
history of the Navy. Now, his resume goes on, but I think
And
if Admiral Byrd says he
after
wants to be
his
the first man to fly
encounters
over the North
in
Pole,
Antarctica, he goes
and if
to
the United States
Chile
sends a major expedition
and
to the
gives
South
various
Pole to
interviews. I
conduct a
can't
top-secret
find them.
mission, well, there's no more qualified
So
person
they've
on the
covered
face
their
of the earth
tracks
to lead
very well.
than Admiral
But then
Richard
after
Byrd.
the debriefing,
Operation
he
High
never
Jump commenced
mentions
in
it
August
again.
19th. Mission was the cover story. No personnel training or equipment testing ever took place. No practice maneuvers. No military exercises. No scientific study of any kind was ever done. According to eyewitness testimony, declassified records, and Byrd's own journal, Operation High Jump had other purposes. One goal was to extend American sovereignty over the Antarctic continent, something that was denied many times publicly by the U.S. government. The other goal was to locate and destroy the secret Nazi military complex known as Base 211. It only meant to be a 6 to 8 month mission. After just 40 days, the base is evacuated and the task force withdraws. The Navy task force retreated to Chile, and as soon as they made port, rumors spread about strange findings and disasters that forced the mission to be cut short. Admiral Byrd himself spoke to the media, and rather than deny the stories, he expressed deep concern about the real possibilities of devastating aerial attacks on the U.S. He warned that there was a new enemy that could attack any country, at any time, anywhere, no matter the distance. And when Admiral Byrd got back to Washington, he was immediately debriefed. And though he had just spent 2 weeks making statements in the press, after a lengthy interrogation, Admiral Byrd never uttered another word about Operation High Jump that he gave to his son right before he died. And if any of what he claims to have seen is true, well, it changes everything.
There should be no green valley below. Something is definitely wrong and abnormal here. We should be over ice and snow.
That recording is not real. That's something he made to add to his videos. It's probably AI or a mate of his recording. This was all written in a private journal given to his son and released 20 years later. A lot of things are released. Top secrets have been released on WikiLeaks if you want to find them. Codename High Jump or all of them. You can look up all of the code names are on WikiLeaks.
Admiral Byrd grabs the controls, but they're not responding. He notices the plane feels light and buoyant. Then, on both sides of the plane, strange aircraft are rapidly closing in. They're disc-shaped and seem to be radiating light, and somehow they're running completely silent. Now, thinking this is now a really good time to head back, Admiral Byrd tries the controls again. No luck. The craft are right up alongside his plane now, close enough that Admiral Byrd can see markings. In that instant, his wonder turns to terror. The markings? Artist Brownson gave testimony.
Did they all fit back in Germany? I don't understand where all those people went. Okay, so to summarize, we went from adult time, youth crime, to UFOs in Antarctica. Why? Why are they locking up young kids? Why do they want to lock up young kids? Is it to brainwash them, to make them think differently to what we think, so they don't see things that we might be able to see in the future? I don't understand why they need to lock them up when crime is going down. Stop messaging me. Secondly, the drones and the UFOs and things that are coming up on TikTok and not in other media. What is happening? Where is it coming from? And like and follow, share, like, follow, share, like, follow, share.